This journey's taught me a lot. Uh, I can tell everybody, the one thing I told my wife is hope. I honestly can't say I don't ever remember feeling hope in my life until I was about 20, 21, and I accepted the Lord in my heart. And that was the first time in my life I think I really felt hope. Not much else changed, but I felt hope, like my life doesn't have to be where it's at today. And I think that's what carries you through a time of dreaming. The wonderful thing about a dream is it can be an impossibility, but it's still possible. I am Don, aka FastestPastor. This is my story of trying to pursue my dream to make it up Pikes Peak. I'm a 3-time rookie, battling cancer, 2-time crasher, and 1-time victor. So every dream has a beginning, and mine would start, I think I was 8 years old, watching 60 Minutes one night. They had a special, I think it was 60 Minutes of prime time. They had a special on Bobby Unser tackling the mountain in an Audi Quattro. And I was hooked. I remember telling my cousin, I remember looking over at him and saying, I'm going to do that one day. Now, at that time, it seemed like an impossibility. And sometimes you just put dreams on the back burner. But several years later, I found myself diagnosed with cancer. And a friend of mine had spurred me on to try to tackle some things on my bucket list. I wasn't given a very long amount of time to live. So we went out looking for a car, and I knew if I was going to tackle that mountain, I wanted to do it in a Porsche. And we decided that a Porsche 997 would be the best. And so we built our Porsche 997 called Bernice. And we built it. She was a bad car, man. She was cool. And we went to the mountain, got to race week, and day one of race week, there was some ice on the road I didn't see. And took a spin and hit the side of the mountain. And that's when I learned not all dreams come true. We left the mountain feeling pretty defeated, and we got Bernice back to Kelly Moss, and we found out that the damage was repairable. We resurrected Bernice. We built her, and not only did we build her, but we built her up and made her even badder and faster. It was a week before first tire test, and I was excited. Bernice was back, and even more so, I was still alive, something I didn't think would happen. So I get to take on year 2, and so to the mountain we go. Jeff Swart had warned me. He said, this mountain good. He says, that's going to bite you. You're gonna have too much time to think, and some bad ideas are going to formulate. And coming up to what we call sump, that was a turn I never felt like I could master. I always felt slow in it. I felt like I was leaving a lot of speed, and it's a double apex. And I thought to myself, I bet you I can get it done in one apex. And so I was just going up the mountain. It was about 10 miles an hour before I realized it was a really bad idea. And the next thing you know, I'm trying to load the car up, and I knew at that point I was already in the gravel. There's nothing I could do, so I put the wheel straight and embraced for what was going to be the ride of my life. 1.89 seconds airborne. And that first impact, I just remember that first impact was, I can't even explain it. It was just so rude. I think it's probably the best way to put that. And I remember just everything in my body started vibrating. And we went back over again, so we'd hit nosed first, hit really hard, so hard it flung me back up in the air than the whole car. And we did a complete 360 and hit again. And it was that hit, I just remember it just compressed my body really hard. And I remember just saying to God, like, not another one. And we did another half a rotation, landed on the back end of the car. And then she did a side barrel roll and then ended back up on her tires. And I just sit there and I had to stare at Bernice, this car that really felt like part of us. Everybody had put so much work into and then we crash and it ends, and I didn't think I'd be back, and here I was back, given a second opportunity, and I couldn't blame it on debris, I couldn't blame it on anything except for me thinking I had a better way up that mountain. I wasn't sure if I'd go back, and I took a week, I think it was 2 weeks, to pray, and felt like, yeah, I'm supposed to go back. And the next discussion was with Mary, who was very vocal about me never doing it again. You know, COVID, she wasn't able to be there. And so I just asked her, I said, how about you do what we've always done, pray about it, and we'll come back. She gave me the blessing that I could do it. She told me not to crash. And now it was, Bernice is totaled, can't repair her. And what are we going to do? And so I approached Andy with a few ideas I had, and one of them was an LMP3. And the rule was, not the rule, but the consensus was from the racing world is you can't make one work on Pikes Peak, which when you tell Andy and I you can't do something, we really want to do it. And so we chose the LMP3. Now we have a car, I have my wife's approval, and Pikes Peak accepted us with a bunch of contingent terms, and now you're looking at sponsors, right? And so thank God Andy worked with Michelin Motorsports, Michelin USA, decided to come on board, and I'm going to tell you what, amazing tires. And so I'm so thankful for them, and teaming up with my friends over at One Ethanol, Devin's just been great. That fuel is amazing. We had zero problems with fuel, and we ran high blend ethanol, and so it was absolutely incredible. Some of the other things that mean a ton to me is I Am Second has been with me for years. We've done ministry together, been an awesome supporter. Sean and JP and them came out and actually did ministry with us on the hill. But when you're assembling this team, those are the kind of sponsors I like to surround myself with. And we have Vortex Optics, which they are just the Vortex Nation. And my buddy Sam came out and he helped us race week, no sleep, came out and helped us. And it was so good to have him there. And we have other sponsors on board, which are just amazing. Saab Belt's been with me. They've stuck it out, and really it's their equipment that kept me safe, along with the Porsche equipment. Obviously Kelly Moss, Road and Race, great people. We're considered a grassroots team because we really are doing a shoestring budget, and it's tough. And so I'm just thankful for Axle Racing and all they do, you know, that we're able to contribute with Kelly Moss and get things done, and you know, KSV Looms, you know, Teddy and Kevin, and then you got Shane, tuned by Shane T, and just really appreciate them. You know, you need all these things to make the mountain hit, and when they all came back and said, yeah, we're in, here we are. And so we're able to then make it the test day and eventually the mountain. And so the whole name of the game was to finish it. And from the moment I stepped on the mountain, I knew it was serious. I mean, Pikes Peak made it serious. They did accept me, but it came with a couple pages of requirements as well. And we stepped on that mountain. You know, I was excited like I'd always been, but it was different. There was a lot of pressure. You know, I'm not going to lie to you. There was a lot of pressure because you had an organization like Kelly Moss who put their name on the line. Pikes Peak put their name on the line. You got Jeff Swart and Reese Millen and Lane Schrantz and all these other people that vouched for my character. And I had a promise to my wife I was going to crash. So we executed, and we executed, I think, a lot like surgery. And we did what we had to make sure that we were successful. And everybody on the selection committee talked to me at one time or another during those tire test weekends, letting me know, you need to finish. And that's the win. And so that's what we did. We went out to finish. And we came into qualifying day. We show up to fog and rain. And so now, not only do we have weather to deal with, but you've got yours truly who hasn't ran a lot on rain tires. It started drying out, and the mountain dried out really fast. But I wanted to get that second run in, and so we went. We kept reins on it, and we went. And so qualifying went great, and we finished at the mountain. And now it was preparation for race day. The weather kind of broke. It looked like it might turn out to be a decent day on Sunday. And you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and the hill is like, no. You're going to have whatever weather I want. And so here we are. It was raining. It was cold. And they delayed it. And the rain broke, and it started opening up to some sun and wind, which was good for the track. I got in Gianna, and literally we had to strap and go, and we made it up to the start line. with moments to spare. That was it. It was really evident though after about 3 miles of running that I had issues, and the engine, especially on low end, just was not running well. We had motor problems, and you're just trying everything you can. And as I went up the mountain, it's just, again, you're executing, and I get up to the point of near Sump, and I knew it was coming, and it was funny what I felt. And I think if you look at the in-car footage, you'll notice I went pretty slow. Not trying to make that mistake twice, but it was at that point that I started getting really worried. And we got up to Glen Cove, and I got up through the first two, and you're climbing up towards Elk Park, and it's not running well. And you make it up, now turn 15 mile, and that's where the people on 16 mile can really hear you. And I remember one of the guys that was filming, he's like, Don, it was funny, we're all sitting there hearing your motor, and everybody's like, he's coming, and it got really quiet when we started hearing the motor break up. And I'm literally like 3 turns from the finish line, and I wasn't sure that I'd make it. It was such a long pop, 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 tit, 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 pop, pop. And I was just like, Lord, just help me. And all of a sudden it came alive, and he said, you could hear it. He said, everybody started cheering when it came alive. And it came right up through the fog, and there you were. We'll turn the last corner, and I remember thinking to myself, I don't care if I gotta get out, push this car, I'm gonna make it. And we made it past the finish line. And I can't even tell you, like, all the years of trouble, even the troubles that year, it all just melted away. I just remember, like, kept repeating, yes, yes, yes. It still felt like a dream. Like, I felt like it was almost an out-of-body experience coming across, and it was like everything had flashed before my eyes in that moment, and seeing everybody on the sides, everybody's cheering for you, everybody's understanding the fellow racers. It's a feat to get up to it. I mean, there's a reason why it's called the most dangerous race in the world, and you have a camaraderie there, and just to make it to the finish line is a victory, not only for me but for any racer. I can remember I was getting in the car, and I was sliding in, and I was getting ready to get my helmet on, and Lane's like, hey, do you know how you did? And I'm like, no, I don't even care. I was just happy I made it. And he said, no, you were in second. And I just started laughing. I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, you got second in your division, 11th overall. And I just started laughing, and that's where you see the picture of me just laughing in my car. Here we were up on top of that mountain with these guys that I look up to, telling me that it was incredible what I did. And so I was super thankful for that. And so here I am. Not really the fastest pastor, but fastest pastor, 3-time rookie, first person ever to make it up Pikes Peak in an LMP3, second in my division, 11th overall. Not too bad for a rookie. But again, it was an awesome experience, and I'm looking forward to next year. Gianna and I are coming back if Pikes Peak will have us.